I may need a level reset because I have my new microphone.
Oh my God, look at you. You sound like you're in the room with us.
Oh my God.
Ian is a real boy.
And a real chair too. Look.
Look
Oh
at
my
this.
God.
My God, he's growing up, Trey. Look at this. This is crazy.
The wife treated me, so it was really nice.
That's awesome.
So proud of you, Ian.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, gamers of all ages. It's the On the Button podcast, episode 14. I'm getting ahead of myself. Sorry, fellas.
There's no way we will make 15.
I
There's no
disagree. I have faith, Trey. I have faith. How you guys doing?
I'm all right. I'm looking at myself in the camera. Man, I look a little ragged. I need to like shave and something. I'm kind of gray. I gotta take care of myself.
When you start getting the gray and the beard, man, you gotta start grooming the beard just on the regular. Otherwise, suddenly next thing you know, you look like you walked off the set of Duck Dynasty or something.
Yeah, I'm getting the distinguished look, but I do have to like keep it up to date.
You definitely have got the distinguished thing going. Definitely, for sure.
What about you, Ian?
Oh, I'm doing great. Just been working a lot to get ready for this weekend, so just tired.
You sound so much better, Ian. What happened there?
Oh, I got this awesome new microphone
Look
thing.
at you.
Look at that guy.
Look
What's
at
up,
you.
dude?
So let's see.
I don't care for it. I don't like it. You sound better than me now, and I'm go back.
So let's see. This
All right,
episode.
let me
14,
find that. Let me dig the headset out.
Episode 14 means we've been at this 26 weeks, so it's been 6 months, and Ian has invested in a real microphone. I love how you explained it earlier, which was you've been doing it long enough that your wife was like, "Okay, this is not a flash in the pan. You can finally invest in a microphone."
Yeah, I think she finally got the idea that like this is fun, and I really enjoy it. So
good.
I got the chair too. The new chair is fantastic.
Look at you with your fancy executive chair. Very nice.
I know. Can't wait to play a bunch of World of Warcraft in it.
Sweet. Well, guys, it's been a busy couple of weeks in SWU, and of course, today they just had their the first kind of really big stream reveal spotlight decks. We'll get to that in a minute. Before we get too far down the road, though, Trey and I have to give a huge shout out to the guys over at Dinosaur Gaming, who hosted us on their YouTube channel / podcast kind of thing. They did like a SWU Jeopardy, and we got invited kind of last minute to come in. Ian wasn't on, unfortunately, you weren't able to attend, but nope. I'm proud to say that Trey and I upheld the honor of the podcast, my friend.
Crushed them.
Crushed everyone. We dug our boot heels into them and put when we got to Final Jeopardy, before a technicality changed it, it was we had $2,000 and the next person had negative 1,500 and the next person had negative 2,000.
Yeah, it was basically
you had you had what is considered the biggest Jeopardy insult, which is you won the game without Final Jeopardy.
Without Final Jeopardy, yeah, exactly.
If you actually played the game, they would have literally stopped the show right then and there.
You're done.
And there would have been no Final Jeopardy because there's nobody to bid against you for points.
Yeah.
The other biggest slight is to bet $1.
Poor Dinosaur basically got to the end and was like, all right, well, I guess we'll call the audible and rewrite the rules so that everybody can keep participating, which just cracked me the hell up. Some of those questions, though, crazy questions.
Hard.
The math questions.
Oh my God.
I hated that category.
So you know how when I play this game, when I play Star Wars Unlimited and I make a mistake and it loses me a match and I just agonize over it for ever and ever? I got a rules question wrong that I knew. I went to spit out the right answer, and then my brain caught me and made me overthink it, and I spit out the wrong answer. We should have had $1,000 more.
Now, if I had been there,
we're okay.
I would have convinced you guys to always do a true daily double.
Yeah, we tried that once.
I don't know how. Yeah, I don't know how we would have done points wise if I was there because I love to gamble. So I would have been like true daily double, before anybody could say anything.
The first time we did that did not go so well.
Didn't go well.
So we didn't make that mistake twice.
So I gotta say, Wes, you crushed the here's 2 words off a card. What card is it category?
Dude,
Yeah.
let me tell you something. That category was I won't say I knew. I had a pretty confident going in because doing what I do with the casting and the card calls, and I spend a lot of time looking at cards, and I've always, going all the way back to the Decipher game, I've had this weird ability to, like, once I see a card a couple of times, you mention it, and my brain immediately will pop up a picture of it. I do not have a photographic memory, but I have this ability, like, if I've seen something, if you've told me about it, I'll forget it in seconds. But if my eyes have seen it, they'll retain that image for some reason. And so I have this weird ability to retain card text, and not every little detail, but like within 80% accuracy. And yeah, so that was a really good category for me.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
Well, anyway, that was a lot of fun. So huge shout out to Dinosaur and those guys. We'll put a link to that. If you guys haven't seen that, take about 30 minutes. It's fun to watch. We were over there with the guys from Outmaneuver and the guys from Padawan Unlimited, and they were tons of fun. We hung out with them some after the show was done recording and just shot the breeze. Several of them had not heard Ian's epic tale from Galactics, so we gave them the condensed version. And it was a lot of fun.
You can do better?
Yeah, exactly. Hold my beer. Let's go. Awesome. Well, guys, we have spent a lot of time this set talking about draft and limited in Legends of the Force. In particular, each of our individual problems with yellow cunning, the cunning aspect in limited play in Legends of the Force. And we all got to draft Legends of the Force last week. We were all, you two guys were in a different pod than me, but there were, 14, 15, I don't know, we didn't have 2 full 8 pods.
12.
We had like,
I want to say it was 12. We had 2 6-man pods.
We had like a 6 and a 7 or 2 6s or something. And so now that you've actually drafted it, and we've all now done some sealed because we did pre-releases, and now you've done at least one draft. Talk to me about your experience, Trey. Do you feel like your negative opinion of yellow is justified in this set?
I am more confident of that than I am in my marriage. So,
well, now,
and I have a great marriage.
Yes, you do.
So, this is what happened in our draft. I sat down and I went, I'm going to open yellow, and I know it, and I'm going to open yellow, and I did. I got past every yellow card you could pass. I got past white yellow. I got past black yellow. I got past regular yellow. I got past all of it, and I got past the best card, and I was like, screw this. I'm not taking one of these cards. I forced red and green. I was forcing something. I may have used blue green. I don't remember. But I remember, the only thing I remember is how I did, and that I just forced whatever it was. I wasn't set on colors until like almost the last pick of the first pack, because I shipped every yellow card. I shipped so many yellow cards. So when you do these drafts, if you're not familiar with it, you always pass left, and kind of you're set after you pass the first pack. You don't really change colors after that first pack. So it's that when I talk about that I shipped all these cards, I put the guy next to me in yellow, I put the guy after him in yellow, and I put the guy after him in yellow. And one of those, that's how many yellow cards I shipped. I shipped everything, and they were good. They were the good yellow cards. Ian was the guy next to the guy next to me. They all played yellow, and they all lost. And they are terrible. And I went 2-1, and I barely lost the end. I barely lost the end to the person in red yellow, but they only had like 5 yellow cards in their whole deck, and they didn't draw a single one in the game they beat me. So that doesn't count as yellow. That's how much yellow was in our pod. That was not the person that I was passing to. Somebody else was in yellow as well.
So in this pod, I'll just go ahead and say it. I took the bait, right? I was like, I'm going to prove Trey wrong. All these great heroism cunning cards are coming through. So I took them all. I ended up with like 3 Padawan, what is the starter card, the Padawan card that gives you the Force. I had like 3 of those, 2 Loath Cats, a Depa. Like I had everything you could want. And the first game I played Trey, he just crushed me so bad.
It
was ugly. It was so ugly. I won my other 2 games, but like
how many of them were playing yellow?
All of them.
Okay, so
there's a lot of yellow cards. There was a lot of yellow cards going around. I think both Trey and Mark were playing Talzin, right? Is that who you ended up playing?
Mark and I were playing Talzin. I actually did have a fantastic play in this that I want to talk about.
I figured out Mark.
Yellow.
I figured out Mark was playing Talzin like 2 picks in. So I started putting the Talzin card on top for him. Like, here you go. Here you go.
Yeah.
Just shuffling it to the top.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I would say it's still pretty broken after that draft. Like I had everything.
Well, broken means
you
good,
would
so it's
want.
pretty trash. Yeah,
It's
you
pretty
fanned
trash.
your
Sorry,
deck
it's
out.
trash.
If
Yeah,
you fanned your deck out, it was a sculpt of if you said I'm going to draft the perfect hero yellow deck in this format, it was not
And
far
I played
off of
it-
that.
and I played it with Obi, so I was playing that Padawan and then putting an experience token on it right away. Like it was working, but it just didn't work. So I don't know. I agree with him, 100%.
So yeah, it is that. How? What about you, Wes? How was your experience in the
I
draft?
was in the other pod, and I ended up drafting Snoke Red. I forget what my leaders were. It was I knew very early on I wanted to draft Snoke. But whatever leaders I had, I was like, this is what I want to play. And in the first packs that were going around the table, that very first pack, there were 3 Praetorian guards, and no one was taking them. And it was like,
Oh,
okay,
nice.
I know what I'm doing now. So I ended up with all
Yeah.
3 of them. I had 2 plain and a hyperfoil Praetorian guard out of that first round. I ended up with a Grand Inquisitor. Somebody passed a foil Grand Inquisitor, and I was like, okay, sure. That sounds pretty good. I never even saw it. The games that I played, I never even saw the card, but I was like, I'm going to draft it. I had a ton of good green black stuff in there. I had one of the little space fighters. I had enough space in there that I had at least two of the 3 games I won just because I opened up with a whole bunch of early space units, and basically nobody ever had anything to do anything about it. And with Snoke, that's a real problem because, I'll give you an example. One of my games I opened with a Forged Starfighter and buffed it. And the next turn, buffed it and attacked. And the next turn, buffed it and attacked. And by the time the game was over, it was like a 5/5. You know?
Nice.
And they never had anything to do with it. They never had a space unit. They had no way to kill it. And it's like, a single crushing blow just murders this thing. But if you're not in blue or you didn't come up with one of those, you didn't draft one, you're just eating it the whole time.
It is real hard to kill giant dudes in draft. That's what ended up beating me. Was she got a Quinlan boss, and it just put the +3/+3 and discard a card when it attacks.
Oh, the
and
Battle Fury. Yeah.
Yeah, and I couldn't do anything about it.
Yeah.
And I just tried. I was like in full on race mode, which is not how I played the other 2 games.
Yeah.
It's not how the deck was built, but I almost got there, but didn't quite.
Yeah.
So I did have one really fun play that I
Go
thought
ahead.
was a lot
What
of
do you
fun. So I played Mark at our local store. He's really good. So my thing is
Yeah.
I can't beat Mark. I think if we play a set of people, if Mark plays 10 people and I play the same other 10 people, we would come out about the same. Like we would both probably be 7-3 after playing those. We were both pretty good players, but I just cannot beat Mark. I've gotten a couple of times where once or twice it's because I made a mistake, and it's one of those mistakes that it's just a tiny little mistake, but I agonize over it because I feel like I should have seen it. And sometimes he just crushes me. So I played Mark, and it was the second round, and I was just I was saying bad words and saying how I was going to lose because I can't beat Mark. So we get to the last round, and I attacked with all he has to do is attack and kill me. Like I think I'm at 21, and he's attacking with somebody that's 7. And so, but I have the initiative, so I attack with Talzin, and I shrink the 7. And by shrinking the 7, he can no longer kill me. Usually you use Talzin to kill something,
Right.
but in this case, I couldn't kill anything, so I shrank the guy from it was somebody with a something on him, and there was 7 damage something. Anyway, I shrank it to a 6, and so then Mark just hits me for 6. So I'm at 20. We all have 28 point bases, so I'm at 27. Now I attack with something that has restore 2, so I heal 2 of that. That's what I had to do this. I had to and by attacking with this to restore 2, it made his last guy, he can't, because he had another guy that was up that could deal 2 damage, but didn't, but me restoring 2 means that guy can't kill me. So now what Mark should have done is he should have claimed.
He claims right there.
And that's all he has to do. He claims and he wins. But I had 5 resources up, and I had a fistful of cards. So but I don't know. I can't think of anything that I would have done with that would have stopped him from beating me on the first action. But he said that he forgot he had a 28 point base. And so he thought he was at 30. He thought he had room. So he I'm sitting there in my head, and I've got my poker face on. As much as I don't gamble, I'm pretty good at not showing emotion when I play. Well, giving away my emotions and what I want to happen when I play. The anger and the frustration, I can't do anything about. Anyway, so I'm sitting there in my head, just kind of watching the board and looking at him, and just screaming in my head.
Don't claim.
I was just do anything but claim. Do anything but claim. Do anything but claim, or buff the guy that you have to attack with, or that you could attack with. Do anything but that. Anything but that. And then he did. He played a card, and I went claim, and then he couldn't kill me, and I killed him on the next one. And then he saw it, and I attacked him, and I was like, kill you and win the game. And he was like, what? No, I have a 28 point. So I thought it was a pretty good play that I used Talzin's -1. To stay alive by shrinking something temporarily that didn't kill it or didn't do any permanent damage. It just made it enough for me to stay alive. And then I got to be the one who gets to point and laugh at Mark because he made the dumb mistake.
Well, okay. So
I was very excited about beating him. It was a pretty easy mistake.
You say dumb mistake, but I think there's always a risk in claiming. It's how many times have we seen people claim they think they've got this in the bag? And they think all I have to do is claim and win, and that you have a way either to win that turn, or to kill the unit they need to kill you with, or something, right? So claiming too early in a phase can also come back to bite you, even if you think it's the right play. I don't know. It's tough. It can be a tough call. It's interesting.
If you know all the cards and the things that are going around, that if you have a good list of everything that's possible to do, I don't think that I think you can say definitively I can claim here, and I think that and after talking to him afterwards, he just missed it, and he thought that he thought he could serve because he was at 25 at that point, and then I attacked the Talzin and kill him. That's what killed him. But he thought he had 5 left, not 3, and that's why he played something else. So
the 28 point bases definitely messed some folks up. We had a couple of guys drafting in my pod that were actually, I think about half the pod was brand new. Had never drafted before, are fairly new to the game.
Ooh.
And so there's nothing wrong with it. For starters, draft is a great way to grow your collection because everybody's opening cards. It's also a great way to just see more cards. And then, but the flip side is these guys had never played limited environment before. And when we were explaining to them, all the bases are 28 points. They're like, what? I was like, yeah, all of the common bases, everybody you play will probably have a 28 point base. They might have a 25 point base, but probably not, because the 25 point bases are kind of dodgy, especially in sealed, right? So
yeah,
dodgy's a good word.
Dodgy, yeah, there you go.
Just in general, it's a great word.
One of the things that I discovered, this was my first time playing Snoke in draft. I had played Snoke in sealed in one of my pre-releases, and I'd done okay, but man, he's way stronger in draft. When I have the ability and the opportunity to ensure that I'm grabbing villainy units, doesn't even have to be necessarily. It could just be plain villainy units, like just regular old black units. Even the regular villainy units in this set are good. The Fallen Jedi, the Army of the Dead, the Stormtrooper, the Sand Trooper Cavalry guy. That's 2/6.
Oh, that guy's great.
That's a great unit. So just given any opportunity to focus in on drafting villainy units just gives Snoke a leg up. When you play him in sealed, you're totally at the mercy of what you open. And chances are you won't have more than, I don't know, maybe I'd guess around 10 or 12 villainy units in whatever you end up building. Whereas in this draft we did, every unit I had in the deck was a villainy unit. There was almost nothing I couldn't use Snoke on. It was awesome.
Awesome. Yeah, it's like Snoke is very good at growing that giant dude that is almost impossible to kill, or not impossible, but a lot more harder to kill because there's so much less kill that guy and much more I have to run a bunch of dudes into it.
I had my cool moment. My cool play of the tournament was at one point I had recreated episode 8. On the board, I had Snoke flanked by 2 Praetorian guards who were both Sentinels.
Oh, that's cool.
And I was like, look what I have achieved, ladies and gentlemen. I did it.
Nicely done. Nicely done. And you did have them laid out in that order,
I did.
right?
It was funny because I wasn't that was the order they got played in. I had one on the board, then I deployed Snoke, and then I played the other guard later in the round, and it was like, hey, look what I did. So yeah, that was kind of fun. It's like, just like in the movie. So yeah, I was really proud of that. Well, guys, we are now officially well into Legends of the Force, which means it's basically coming up on spoiler season. FFG today started things off with their first live stream of September, looking at the Spotlight decks for Secrets of Power. And as a prelude to all of that, because they've gotten into this really bad habit of like, we're going to have a stream about this thing, but we're going to start off talking about all this totally unrelated stuff that we should have probably already told you weeks ago. So today's stream, they started talking about the organized play stuff that's going to be available at sectors and regionals, because of course only the dates and everything for sectors and regionals were only announced a couple or 3 weeks ago, and they told us, look, silver packs and black packs are coming back, but they didn't tell us what was in the packs. Well, today we found out what was in the packs. Now, one of the things that I was really hoping they would do, the template of the way the cards looked coming out of the Galactics, that framing that they used, I was a huge fan of that. And I'm excited to say they've kept that, and they're going to carry that forward for the cards they put into these packs for sectors and regionals. They revealed what they were going to be. Let's see, there was some good stuff. The silver packs, of course, we won't have a regionals in the U.S. until 2026, right? There won't be one. The only regional that's going to happen this fall is going to be in Europe in October.
They actually call it regionals. It's not like sector overmaster.
Nope, regional. Nope,
ring something or other.
They're calling it a regional championship now, is what they're calling it. Yep. But the sector qualifier packs, the silver packs, they have alt art versions of all 4 of the original double aspect cards from Spirit of Rebellion.
I'm so looking forward to those cards.
They look really good. And one of the comments that Tyler Parrott made on the stream was that because they were, some of these cards, of course, they're printing these alt art versions long after the official art has been approved and the cards in print. He said we could tell the artist lean into this color. So these are full art cards, but the aspect color is very prevalent. Like the command card with Mon Mothma is gorgeous. The aggression one with Kylo is also very, 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 very good looking. So like these are really good cards. And then they've chosen some other stuff. You've got Planetary Bombardment in here.
Nice.
You've got Wrecker, HK-47. I really love this, the art on this HK-47. Oh, it's Johnny Morrow. That's why I love it. I just noticed. So yeah, there's some really, really good cards in here. And then the black packs, which are going to be for regionals, the legendaries in here, Darth Vader, Twilight of the Apprentice, again. So he's going to have 2 different versions. This one is like the gold framing because it's from a regional, but it's the same art. I think it's the same alt art that we saw out of the Galactics. I don't remember. I'd have to double check.
I need to insert a meme here.
Yeah.
That I'm just going to describe because we're not really, this is for audio.
Yeah.
I don't know the difference between black packs and silver packs, and at this point, I'm too afraid to ask. I'm not, so I'm asking now.
Okay.
Like, what is the difference? Is it just
making a second day?
Yeah, basically rarity levels. Okay, at the Galactic Championships, the silver packs were available for everybody who played in day 2, and then as you won more games, you got more silver packs. They were also available for purchase on the prize wall with your tickets. The black packs at the GC were only available to people who played in day 3. That was it. Those are easily the rarest, most expensive OP promos in the game because of how small the distribution was.
Right.
For example, if you look at the Anakin promo, the Anakin Champion of Mortis promo, out of those, that card's worth $200+, right? Because of how few there are in circulation, and because it's a good card, it's a good legendary. So they've kept that theme going forward, right? There's going to be 9 sectors and 3 regionals. So there's going to be more opportunities to earn the silver packs, which are only going to be available at regionals, and then the black packs are only going to be available. Sector packs at the silver packs at sectors, and then the black packs will only be available at regionals. And of course, there's only 3 of those over the next year. So the stuff in the black packs is harder to obtain because there's fewer events, right?
Mm-hmm. All right, that's what I needed.
Yeah. So anyways, I love what they've done with these promos. That's really cool. Now, one of the things that it really interests me, right? These are going to be the promo cards all the way through next July. So even after set 7 drops in March, there's going to be another round of sectors and at least one regional that works off of these cards. But based on what we know today, some of these cards are rotating out.
There's a lot of cards rotating out.
Yeah, like all the double aspect cards as far as we know. Now, I want to believe they're going to reprint those, but we don't know yet. So that's interesting. We'll have to keep an eye on that. All right.
That's strange.
Yeah, I'm curious. I'm wondering when they're found. They didn't really get into this today, but at some point they have to start, and it'll probably be after set 6 drops. The two things that there's going to be all kinds of questions once set 6 is out and on the street about the Eternal format, rotation, and reprints. Those are going to be on everybody's mind as we go through leading up into March. Like from November to March, that's going to be a thing.
We'll probably find out 2 months after set 7 releases.
I will decline to comment on the basis of Mama told me not to say mean things if I don't have nice things to say. All right. Now, continuing on that stream, they then played a game with the new Spotlight decks, Padme and Palpatine, Chancellor Palpatine. Ian, did you watch any of this? Did you get to see some of this?
No, I didn't watch it, but I saw the cards.
You looked over the cards. Anything interest you,
cards.
stand out to you here? What are you thinking?
The new mechanic of show people what's in your hand to do an effect. I don't know if I would ever want to play that. Like, to give away what's in my hand. My only thought is like, sure, I'll show you these 2 cards because I'm going to resource them, I guess. But, like, to give away what's in your hand just to get an effect seems strange to me. So I don't really understand that.
Have you not played Blue Control ever? Lieutenant Chilton?
Well, yeah, but that's one card. Like, you're talking about, like, there's a lot. They didn't show a lot of cards, but there was like 6 or 7. So it's a pretty big function, I think, in this set. Like, there's going to be a pretty good amount of those cards if that's just within the Spotlight deck. So I don't know. It just seems like a weird strategy to me. Again, first card game, right? So like that just seems really strange to me to give away, what I'm gonna play in the future. The other mechanic plot is growing on me a little bit more with the more cards they release.
Okay.
I think when I first saw that, I thought that was like the lamest idea ever. Like, why would I want to put my leader out and then use up all my resources to do a bunch of things that maybe just get wiped off the board or totally taken out? But the more kind of cards I see with it, the more interesting it gets.
Okay.
What were you going to say, Trey?
Oh, I was just, for all of our talk about them not thinking and designing around costs other than just the resource cost of the card, that this seems like they've given lip service, or they've at least paid attention a little bit to giving away hidden information as a cost. So I just think that's neat.
I think a little like Ian, I'm kind of higher on plot than I am on disclose right now. That's not to say that I'm as low on disclose as what it sounds like Ian is. I think some of the disclose cards that they've spoiled have some really strong effects. And so I'm looking at that like what you're getting possibly in exchange is very minor. We also have a lot, I mean it could be big in terms of giving up minor information. The other thing is that we already have cards that allow me to see your hand, for example. Like, if my opponent has already played Bazine, me playing a disclosed card is irrelevant. He's already seen my whole damn hand, right? So,
yeah.
Or anything that goes in your hand, Spark of Rebellion, or whatever. So I feel like there are absolutely opportunities for disclosed to be really, really, really good. There are probably going to be some cards where you look at it and go, oh yeah, I probably wouldn't do that. And there's absolutely going to be times that you don't want to do it, or you're like, no, I don't want him to know I have this. That's, to me, the interesting bit here is the mind game back and forth of, do I show him this and bluff that I have it while I resource it later? Do I even want to? How do I resource? One of the things that Tyler pointed out, because he was showing he had played a card that required him to disclose, I think, or he was going to play a card that required him that had a disclose effect on it that was green, white, and so He then resourced the one yellow card in his hand so that when he played this other thing, he would still have green, green, white in his hand. And so I thought that's interesting. I hadn't thought about that, but again, if you want to trigger these effects, that might drive your resourcing decisions. There's all kinds of things about it. I don't know that it's going to make it in the long-term game, but I think it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out in the limited format over the course of the set. I'm looking forward to seeing more of that. I like the idea of it. Plot to me has much longer legs because plot is not leader restricted. One of the things that they were pointing out was that some of the cards, they wanted to make sure that they weren't exclusively good with just this particular version of this leader. The Anakin unit that comes in the starter deck that triggers off of being able to have Padme Amidala on your side of the board is one of the examples, right? They were like, he basically said this card originally had plot, but then what if I want to go back and play it with set 3 Padme? Well, then she doesn't. So this card, she doesn't really work with it. This card feels kind of crapo. So we took that around and we just made it just a generically better card or generically more useful card and moved the plot keyword somewhere else. I think plot has the opportunity, the ability to possibly shore up some leaders that are kind of perceived as a little weaker. Two of the cards they've showed us are unit upgrades. Basically, one is called Unveiled Might. It's just a 4 cost that adds 2/3 in green. And the other one was it was a simple 1/1 for +1/+1 for 2 cost in yellow. And I look at those cards and I think, how many times have we talked about leaders that have the stats and you're worried about them getting murdered when they flip? Now possibly you have a way to work around that. Yeah. I think that's interesting. I think that's interesting. I think it opens up the possibility. I won't pretend I've spent any time thinking about this because I haven't. But I think there's going to be leaders out there that people go, oh, when I combo this +2/+3 with my leader flip, now I can, hey, this is really good. I don't know. I think it might be fun.
Nice.
I thought it was interesting that Hidden was back.
Well, they said Hidden was going to stay.
Yeah.
Hidden is now on the evergreen list of things.
Another thing that has made a comeback is or 2 drops with 4 butts.
Yes.
4 health.
Yep, those are still around. The other
adding
thing,
more of them, you can build your
more
deck out
good
with more
2
of them.
drops.
The other thing that's come back is capture mechanics. There are capture cards in this set.
Nice.
Which is interesting. That makes me think
there are cards, I haven't looked at them yet. There are cards that capture something, or there are cards that care about whether something is captured.
There are cards that capture things, and they're not reprints. They're new cards with new ways to capture units. So even though set 2 is going to rotate out, the capture mechanic is going to be with us longer because we're printing it here in set 6. It's going to be with us.
You think there'll be a smuggle card in the set?
I don't think so. I think they
smuggle card.
No, I doubt that. That would make too much sense. It would be great if they would put that in set 7, though.
Yes.
It would also go with the theme of set 7. The title of set 7 is A Lawless Time. Okay, well, let's put some smuggle in it, baby.
All
let's go.
Star Wars.
Yeah,
that's all of Star Wars.
Let's put some smuggle in it, baby. Let's go. Bring it back. One of the other reasons that I like plot, and I think we've touched on this before, it's got kind of a faux smuggle feel to it, right? It's being able to take cards that you earlier resourced and get more value out of them. Now, unlike smuggle, plot only works on the moment I deploy my leader, as opposed to I can just play this card from smuggle whenever I want. But I love the idea of being able to take cards that I previously resourced and get more value out of them somehow later in the game.
Our segues are on point tonight, boys.
I know, right?
Our discussions come to a screeching halt.
All Trey has to do is sit there and go, that's interesting. That's interesting.
Well, that's probably on me, but
that's okay.
Still.
Ian, you've got some notes in here. You want to talk about Twin Suns. You mentioned this briefly, so talk to me. What do you talk to me through your thought process? What's going on?
So I was having a conversation with my friend Laura. She plays Magic and she only plays and she was telling me about how she got new deck upgrades, right?
Okay.
And they were like rare alternate art foil cards that came out of a new set. So I guess like it's the same card, but just a cooler picture.
Okay.
And it made me think about like, okay, well, the next night, literally the next night, I'm sitting down to play Twin Suns, and I'm sitting across. Trey is across from me, and he's playing. Richard's playing one of his decks, and Jason's playing his decks. And as we're playing our cards, I'm noticing that our Twin Suns decks, for the most part, are pretty like blinged out, pimped out, however you want to put it, right? So like Trey's playing mostly hyperspace foil cards, a few hyperspace cards. I think the worst thing I saw him play was a foil. Like I didn't see a single rare card. And Jason's the same
there
way.
There are no foils. There's promos and hyperspace only, sir. Maybe some prestige.
Okay, my bad. So, and then Jason's kind of doing the same thing.
To you?
and I'm playing a couple too, right? So it made
I
me
did notice that.
So like, you know, I thought it was really neat. So it made me go to TCG Trader and look at card prices in comparison to Magic, right? Magic has a very clear system. The common is the lowest, like the regular print of the card is the lowest cost. And then its foil version is worth more. And then if it's any sort of alternative art, it jumps exponentially. And then if that is foiled, it jumps like off the scale of price, especially if it's a playable card. So I just looked up a few playable cards to see what the difference was. And if Twin Suns is a healthy game, in theory, we should be having kind of the same thing. So this is what I learned. You can take a card like Luke Skywalker, the pilot or ground one. Okay? His regular card will cost you $6.
Okay.
On TCG Trader right now. His foil version, $4.50.
Correct.
Complete opposite way. And in theory, that is more rare than the other card.
But nobody cares. I've had this bitch about it for the whole game. I believe that they added regular alt version foils just as a box to tick without putting any thought to whether they should have it. And I don't think they should have it because nobody cares. Because if you want the nicer thing, you're going to skip and go to hyperspace or hyperfoil. No, but I deal in singles, and almost nobody cares about the foil cards.
But the same thing being, the hyperspace card, which should take a jump over at least the regular card, is 50 cents more than the regular card.
Okay.
And then you make it foiled and it's worth about $1 more. Mm-hmm. So there's not like a huge jump between the difference in the rarities.
So now
which makes me very worried that my favorite format, Twin Suns, does not really have a support community. And that it's not really been being played because blinging out your deck for Twin Suns is not there, maybe? Like, I don't know. It makes me worried about my format if the card prices kind of sit that way.
The singles price problem you're talking about has nothing to do with Twin Suns. Nothing. And it has everything to do with how it's twofold. One is how FFG printed the game. And you've chosen an interesting thing here because you chose JTL, a JTL card to talk about. What's the thing that differentiates JTL from the 3 sets that preceded it?
Prestige.
Carbonite.
Oh, yeah.
Carbonite. So now there are way more hyperspace, hyperfoil, and regular foil versions of any given card in circulation than there were for the 3 previous sets. Okay? There's another component. There's several other components to this. One is, in Twin Suns, how many copies of a card do you need?
Just one.
Just one.
But that's the same thing as Commander.
Is it?
That's just one.
Yeah,
it's just one.
I don't know. But my point is, if I only ever need one copy of something, the demand remains low forever, right? Just because I can buy one and then I never need another one if I'm only worried about a Twin Suns deck.
But
you have to grow the player. You have to grow the player base to a point where that becomes. You have to have a larger player base for Twin Suns because everybody only needs one copy of the card. So it is definitely smaller than Premier right now. It's substantially smaller than Premier there, but it has population. I'm not worried about it based on the prices. It just feels like it's early in Twin Suns' life. Magic's been here for 30-something years, 32 years now. And we've been here for a year and 4 months.
Just makes me worried for my favorite format that like maybe it's not catching on at the rate that I would like it to catch on. That's for sure. I mean, our locals, like, we have to pull teeth to get a game together every week, it feels like. And Trey and I at least try at any given point. So, especially when it's open play. So, it's one of those things that, like, we could have 16 people show up and there's maybe 4 Twin Suns decks. Like, is that just our group? Is that all groups? Like, I don't know. I just don't know. And because there's no tournament support, there's no, making it more of a feature, a spotlight. I'm just worried about it. Like, is anybody going to care? Is it just going to disappear? Will it just be Trey and I both playing 2 decks against each other one day? Like, is that what this is going to turn into?
It's pretty clear TS is going nowhere, right? They ran how many thousand Twin Suns events at Galactics? It's incredibly popular because it is correctly perceived as super casual, right? It's what where I struggle with Twin Suns is I have to learn not to take it seriously, right? But when I sit down across from somebody like Trey who takes it super serial, how can these things clash in my brain to where it just makes me angry, right?
Well, yeah, no, like, in the Trey aspect, like, what I'll say is he sees things before most people at the table. I hit him last night to win the first game, and as soon as I attacked his base, he saw it. I had saw it maybe 1 turn ahead of him, and he's like, "Oh, you missed your math by this one thing." But he saw what was going to happen and how I had laid it out, I guess. So yeah, Twin Suns is more casual, but like, with the more competitive people you play with when in Twin Suns, the more interesting the games are, I think. I don't know. It's just my favorite format.
You can have a social game where everybody is pretty good at the game and they can see everything. Like when I play the cards, I am super competitive. Like, whatever I'm playing at, I want to win. But I can also go like hang out and have a beer and talk to people, but that doesn't really shut off my brain. So it's not a question of am I leaned over the table and it's win or I have a bad time, or I don't care about any of this. Why does we just throw the cards in the air? Like, there's a happy medium where I can be there and chatting and talking and like having a good time. And if I'm in the right circumstance, have something to drink. And then also like going through the motions and playing it, trying to make the correct decisions and like trying to make the most effective decisions. Like, I can do both of those things. And that's why I have so much fun with it, is because I was having a conversation. We had one of the guys that came out last night, Michael. He's one of the, he top 8s all the big events. If you had him on stream, he came out last night and we were talking, and I was just talking about how I don't go in for like long sessions of Premiere because I get focused, and then in the next match I focus more, and then I get into that I'm like super in my own head, that I'm so focused that I'm not really having fun. And so I like Twin Suns because I can put myself to the test to make all the correct decisions and try to juggle all the variables of even more people at the table, while also sitting back and talking smack and having a good time and being social about it. So having the social aspect of the game that I'm trying to do well at, but don't have to do well. Like, Ian won last night. He won the first game, and I thought it was amazing. And it was no sweat off my brow. I wasn't upset. I was excited for Ian for winning. I thought it was cool how he pulled it off and set it up. And so, like,
got a double kill with, took down 2 people.
Look at
2 people in 1 turn. He got us both.
Yeah, 2 people in 1 turn. Yeah, double kill.
Now you don't get the heal, but for the first kill, right?
No, you heal for both of them. It says
so
you heal 5
anytime
damage when you kill a unit.
Anytime you eliminate a player, you heal 5, regardless of. Okay, that's good to know. I've only played 2 games, and they were train wrecks, so I don't know these things.
That's why you got to play more.
Yeah, because that was really encouraging.
It's good to know that maybe the format isn't in trouble. Like, just between the 2 conversations I had and then coming today, I was like, I've got to hear some different perspective, because in my head I'm thinking, man, Twin Suns is just doomed. Like,
so
it's gonna be me and Trey playing, and I'm gonna be like, oh, hey, that Fleet Admiral you played was great. Like,
here's the first thing I would do to help assuage your fears. First thing you need to do is separate the idea of singles prices being driven by Twin Suns. They are not. Not in this game. Not even close. Okay. Singles prices in Unlimited continue to be driven by the competitive players having to build decks, and you can see it anytime there's a big event and a big deck makes an unexpected splash. There's a spike in the cards that drive that deck in TCG Player. 100%. Okay. Now I have to presume the same thing happens in Magic. I don't know, but it absolutely happens in Unlimited. Now, I'm going to go back to the point I was making earlier. Okay. You were talking about foil prices, particularly the plain foil prices, being depressed compared to the regular card. We've briefly touched on this before, okay? But that is largely because, if we accept what I just said is true, that single prices are driven by the competitive player base, foils are viewed by most of the competitive player base as a liability because they are more likely to Pringle and warp and then get you disqualified from a tournament. We've had people take game losses for playing with foils in their decks at PQs and sector qualifiers. And as long as that continues to happen, competitive players are not going to want to play with foils unless, and we've seen some of this, they foil the whole damn deck. In that case, it's almost impossible for the judges to say, well, your foils are clearly marked cards, because every damn card's a foil. So then if a couple of them are Pringled, well, then it doesn't matter. You know, it is what it is.
Good point.
Now, to further the point I was making about the alternate art versions, I went and while we were sitting here, you guys were chatting, I went and pulled up a card from Shadows of the Galaxy. Let's talk about Maul, the set 2 7/6 Ambush Overwhelm Maul. I'm going to use him as a basis here for this comparison because that is a good, solid, staple rare, right? Just a regular Joe Blow rare, same as your Luke, okay?
Mm-hmm.
The regular, now my assertion is that the reason those alternate art Lukes are so weirdly priced is because the Carbonite pack market floods the market with all these other weird alternate art things. Okay. If you go back to Maul in set 2, he didn't have this Carbonite problem. A base regular rare Maul right now is listed about $5. Okay, that's pretty reasonable for a nice solid playable rare. His regular Joe Blow Hyperspace non-foil version, $15. His hyper foil version, low end, about 27 or so. Let's see what would
what's the foil worth?
What is this regular rare? Regular foil.
That's what I'm going to find out.
Yeah, what's this regular foil?
I'm betting
8 cents. No.
it's going to be. Let's have a look here. Let me pull it up.
Probably 556.
Let's see. Survey says about 7. So it's a little more. But again, in this era, the foils truly are a little more rare. But it's not going to be a big jump in price because they're not highly sought after. You know, years ago when I played Star Wars CCG by Decipher, they didn't start foiling cards for years. It wasn't until 4 or 5 years into the game they started printing foil versions of the cards. Now, when they did that, the player base went crazy for them. Foils were the thing and I hated them. So it was super easy for me to get them and trade them away or sell them or whatever. But man, it was a big deal. Unlimited coming in and foiling the bejesus out of everything right off the bat. And it's not that there's just, you know, every single card has a foil version. Ugh, that's a lot. That's a lot of chaff. How many times have you been at a draft and you walk away and there's a pile of commons in it? There's foils in it. Nobody cares. Nobody cares.
Every time.
Every single time. Every single time. Now, for me, you guys talk about blinging out your Twin Suns deck. Twin Suns, for me, is the one place I'm actually interested in foils because I only ever need one. So I feel like it's okay. I won't say okay. It's easier for me to rationalize to myself of, go get the foil of this card, even if it's an expensive card. Get the foil one, because you only ever need one. Plug it into your Twin Suns deck, and then you'll have it, you know, and you'll play with it and whatever. Back in JTL, I opened so much Carbonite, I actually have almost
a bunch, too.
I have almost a complete set of regular foil JTL in here that I keep meaning to sell, right? And it's about 3 or 4 cards shy. There's a couple of legendaries I still need to fill the gaps on. But like, I don't know what I would get for this. It wouldn't be a lot, right? But I've thought about like, I should go list this on eBay and just see. But I don't know that I would get much for it. I'll probably end up keeping it if I ever finish it.
You could start to your Twin Suns collection, Wes.
I mean,
once you start building decks and come in to play with us.
Yes and no. TS. The nice thing about investing in regular foils for TS is they never rotate out. TS is an eternal format, right? So even all of your SOR cards, when SOR rotates out of Premier, they're still going to be legal in Twin Suns. Yay! So nothing wrong with that. But yeah, I personally think that the singles prices are completely divorced from Twin Suns. I wouldn't even equate them at all.
Not yet. I think the as a corollary to the Commander in Magic, Commander is so big. Commander is bigger than
massive. It is
bigger than every other thing in Magic.
Yes.
And so
I didn't know that. I thought
it's
maybe like their
huge.
standard was the biggest.
Commander
Standard
is
is
the
the
biggest thing they play.
Okay,
As far,
well, then that
I
makes
think it is. I don't have any data to back that up, but
It
just
is.
judging by when I go out and see, I think it is. So
They'll tell you it is.
yeah. So
there's
like,
there's always a commander pod when we go play cards, like in the
Mhm.
cafe or just out and about. Like there's always
it's
people playing
everywhere.
commander.
there's usually several of them. So because that drives singles prices because Commander is so much bigger than everything else.
Mm.
In
Okay.
Unlimited, you do not have this problem. Now you might someday, but you don't right now.
Just think about all of those, how much those sweet foils are going to be worth in 5 years whenever we do have this problem.
What am I going to do with them between now and then? Blah.
Your mold that hasn't been reprinted and that you have the foil version
So-
of, that card's going to be so expensive.
You on the one stack on my desk is the foil set I've been building for JTL. This pile is just regular plain foils from Twilight, a set that nobody wants cards from anyway. These are probably better used as fire kindling than anything else. So, yikes. Anyways. Well, guys, it's September now, which means we're almost to the first Texas PQ here of the season. It's Wednesday night as we record this, and on Friday afternoon, we're all headed up to Dallas for the big limited PQ up there at Common Ground Games. Last I heard, there were 128 seats, and there were 22 remaining. I'll double check while we're sitting here and see if that's still accurate or not. But either way, I'm looking forward to this event, guys. I'm excited for limited competitive play to come to Unlimited.
So excited. I love this so much. That's the other, when I talk about I don't want to sit there and play heads up all day long, it's because I don't want to put in the time it would take to be good at heads up Premier all day long, because you have to, all the preparation that goes into it, just play jamming same game over and over and over, trying to figure out so that any situation that comes up, you know exactly how to handle it. Oh God, that is so boring to me. So that's what, oh God, I love limited, because it's such it's a huge tree of decisions and possibilities of cards that you have in your deck. And so it's such a wide variety of things that can happen, because there's so many different cards on both decks and how they go at each other, that it's all, not all, but it's a lot on the fly thinking. It's a lot on the fly being creative and figuring out how to solve things in the moment, which means I don't really have to prepare for it. So I can go have a life outside of this and then show up and play. Now there's some value to having seen the cards and been with the cards, but I don't have to just jam the same game over and over and over and like have that be my preparation. I just play the cards and like them.
I love the deck building aspect of it. Like that's the best part. People are going to come up with some crazy stuff, or maybe something really basic and simple wins. Like you just never know. It's gonna be fun to watch.
So are y'all doing anything special for this one? For the limited?
So Ian's giving me my
Wes
co-caster.
has got. Yeah, I jumped at that like immediately. Like
He
as
was
soon as
like-
it's like I'm doing Dallas, it's like I want to
He's like,
cast
limited,
this.
let's
This
go.
can be so fun. Yeah,
I've been working
he's
with
got crazy ideas.
It's-
He's got
it's gonna be good.
crazy stuff going
It's
on.
going to be good. I've been working with the head judge to talk through some things. We're going to get a couple of volunteers to come open their sealed packs. Trey's like, I volunteer distribute. We knew you would. Volunteer distribute, build their decks on camera. Obviously, with the top-down cameras, I'm going to put up a couple of DM screens so that the two players can work opposite each other, and we'll just look straight down at what they're doing. Okay, so you guys will open your cards, log each other's piles, hand them back, and then go to work on your decks. And we'll just kind of observe that process and make some comments along the way. Of course, during all the Swiss rounds, it'll be like my regular coverage. Of course, I have the advantage. We can put cards on the screen so that as people play some weird, obscure things, like, what does that even do? I don't know. Let's put it on the screen and find out. And then the draft coverage is what I've really been trying to focus on, right? Because the top 8 draft coverage is going to be really interesting. Once we get to the top 8 cut, again, I've talked to the judge. We're going to do the draft in the streaming room. So again, there'll be 2 people sitting under the overhead camera. I'm gonna need one of them who will volunteer. I need one person out of the 8 who will volunteer to be the featured drafter. Look, call me when you make it, okay? Okay.
I volunteer tribute in that one too.
Fair enough. But if we get one person who will volunteer to be the featured drafter, I'll have a camera over their shoulder. We'll be able to see their cards as they come in. We'll be able to log the cards as they go by. So during the live draft, we'll constantly be able to see what leaders you're drafting for and the cards you've drafted in the pack you're working on. And then when the pack is done, we'll save that pack and put up a clean slate and draft the next pack. And at the end, I have another screen. I call it the report card screen, where we'll be able to see your leaders and every pack you drafted, 1, 2, 3, all 42 cards you drafted. Oh. And then we can go, okay, so this is where they're starting. And then from then, we go back to I'm looking over top down, and we're going to look at guys build their draft decks as well. So I think it's going to be a good time.
Going to be ESPN quality crap going on, man. It's going to be sweet. I can't wait. I really hope that Trey does build his deck on camera, because he mumbles to himself when he's making his cards. I've sat across from him. I can't count the number of times doing between draft and pre-release and everything. And he's not saying anything, but he's definitely like, I just can't wait. I'm going to Mystery Science 3000 the crap out of that. And it's so funny. It's going to be so fun. But it's going to be fun. I mean, I can't believe you've got cameras set up to watch them build their decks, to watch them draft. Like, that's crazy. Like, that has to be first. So that's awesome that you have those camera angles worked out.
The deck building stuff is easy because it's just the overhead camera, right? So it's just a matter of the beauty of having the 4K camera overhead is that I can get full resolution and still zoom in on just the mat area. And so as long as I basically tell guys, hey, look, just work on the mat, please, and we'll be able to see what you're doing. Yeah. And I've got a couple of Star Wars RPG Dungeon Master Game Master screens downstairs. I'm going to bring so we can set those up, because I'm sure that the judges are going to be like, they can't see what each other's doing. That's fine. We'll take care of it, right?
A regular pre-release.
All the other
everybody
people are going to have
see.
Dungeon Master screens. People sitting at the regular tables are going to be sitting across from them. But you'll have them, just in case.
Especially at draft time when the people are building their decks. Yeah. Okay. In the sealed version, I don't know that it matters all that much, because you're building your sealed deck across from somebody, but that everybody else in the room is doing it. So I'll check that with the head judge. But certainly at draft time, we want people to be able to build their decks kind of in peace, right, without having people look over their shoulder, and we'll figure it out. So, but in any event, I think it's going to be a good time. A huge shout out to my Patreon backers. I'm also managed to get hand cameras working, so I have all of that available now. I can clip a camera to the chair, look over the player's shoulder at their hands. So while they're playing the game now, we can pull their hands up and see. We can look at possible resourcing decisions and all these kinds of things. So the tech is the setup is continuing to improve. I can put 5 cameras on the screen at once now. I'm pretty excited about that. That looks pretty fun.
Wow.
Nice. Yep. We can have the 2-player cams, the overhead, and then all the hand cams can come on at the screen. And the Stream Deck, the guys that do that programming, that software, have added some more functionality I'm starting to take advantage of, which helps kind of streamline how that comes together a little bit. So yeah, I'm way into the weeds here, and I haven't even gotten to like vertical overlays yet, which is something else that's on my list. So I have a lot of things I still want to continue to innovate and do in this space. But for now, the goal is to make draft look good.
Well, I'm actually really looking. I won't see it because I'll be playing in this draft, but I'm looking forward to going back and watching your coverage of it so that I can see what all you've done with it.
And it occurs to me, the one thing that I learned from watching the guys, the late night guys work the one in Chicago, because all the deck lists are done by hand, there's no leader info available, any of that stuff available in Melee. I need to make myself a note. I was going to talk to the head judge and see if, hey, in between rounds, like before, over the first few rounds, can you guys like just put leader and base info in for each player so we have it available? But we'll see. Hopefully they can do that, because it would be great to be able to look at the field and see what folks are playing, see who's got the balls to try some weird off-ball leader like Revan or Anakin or something like that in this format. I think it'd be
just don't. To help Trey, I mean, I guess, play those terrible crud leaders. I want to see my boy in the top 8.
Anakin.
Play Morgan Elsbeth.
Anakin,
leader.
I'm kind of down on. If you could pull enough decent villain cards in the right color to build a villain deck around Revan and Snoke, in my mind, aren't that far apart in terms of how useful they are for what they do. The trouble is in sealed. How do you make them work in sealed? In draft, there's that possibility. But in sealed, I think they're almost impossible.
Yeah. Revan and Anakin go right in the don't play this crap pile.
Pretty much, right?
Yeah.
One of the other things that I had you guys do that's going to give us some talking head fodder over the course of the event, Ian, is over on our Houston competitive Discord for the game. One of the guys had made some little tiered lists where he had gone through and ranked each of the aspect colors. Like you see this in a pack, you grab it, or this is pretty high priority, or it's not a bad card, or all the way down to this is an unplayable coaster, right? To quote Bobby Sapphire. And I had you guys do that for each of the aspects, and then I'm going to do one, and we'll have all of those available for us to just, we'll use those to kill time, Ian. We'll talk through each of the aspect colors before we get to draft about, the kinds of cards that you might want to see, and so on and so forth.
I was tempted to put every single yellow card in the unplayable coaster pile, but I will say that I spent a little bit of time thinking. I actually have one of them being a first pick card, just because I would play it out of aspect. And so whatever other color I'm playing, I will play this.
I actually really want to know, but I'm not going to go look right now because it'll spoil the surprise for me. So I'll look later. Yeah.
I looked at Trey's list. Him and I draft completely different, so it might be why he always kicks my ass.
So that to me is one of the other things, the other values of this exercise, right? Because you're going to have three different perspectives, I think, of how people view cards, the mindset you go into with the draft. I've had conversations with local competitive players talking about, like even Trey a few weeks ago talking about, well, you're never going to see, no one's ever going to pass you a Qui-Gon, and yet it happens.
That's not what I said. That's not what I said. I said you can't form your opinion about the color because of a legendary that you might get once in every 60 drafts.
I agree, but my point is that when you see it, if it and combined with all of the other stuff that was going by at the time, it became very clear that if I was to call the audible and move into that color combo, I would literally have the pick of the litter. I could have any yellow-white card that came across that I wanted, which is eventually what happened, right? So yeah. Anyways, this is going to be good times. I'm looking forward to this.
I'm really excited that they're that we're doing limited and that we're doing it so close to us.
I'm also really excited for the venue. I think I was having this conversation with you, Ian. The Common Ground Games guys have made more of an effort to connect with me in advance than any other store venue I've ever worked in the sense of I've had 3 different calls with them to talk through where we're going to set up, how's it going to go, what do I need from them, if anything, do I have questions? Here's the gear that we have in the store that you're welcome to borrow, right? That kind of stuff.
Nice.
And yeah, it's been amazing. So I'm looking at this venue going, boy, I hope these guys keep getting PQs. I'll just keep going back here. This place is awesome.
my first question to Wes is like, hey, what's the food situation? Like, because we like sometimes we don't have time to grab any food. Because, like, game ends, next one start. Game ends, next one start, and like that happens like almost every time in the middle of the day, and especially as the rounds go longer, the games get a little longer because people are a little more tired. They're making decisions a little slower. So, and Wes is like, bro, they're going to let us DoorDash. There's going to be pizza. Like, he's like, they're hooking us up. I'm like, yes.
We learned a difficult lesson in Denver, and I have taken that lesson to heart and learned to ask that question now.
Pot stickers, baby.
It's one thing going
Ginger
to
and the pot stickers.
Exactly right. It's one thing going to Dragon's Lair where I know exactly what's going on, and there's literally a restaurant, 30 steps away in the building. Okay, that's easy. And I've gone now, going to Austin now. I know, there's restaurants literally in the same parking lot, so I can put in a to-go order and walk over there in between games and grab something. We did that last time. But as a new venue, I'm like you were pointing out, I have to ask this question. And the first time you work someplace, there's always this open question of, okay, how do I, I'm going to be there 12 hours, same as the judge staff, but they're probably getting fed by the store. Do I have to look for my own? How do we deal with this? And so on. So there's a lot that goes into all of this. But it's a ton of fun. So anyway, Dallas this weekend, I'm excited. This is going to be a good event. This is going to be good stuff. So
carpool should be fun.
Yeah, you guys are going to carpool. You guys, I'm going to be just. Yeah. I guess I'm just going to be the third wheel. I don't know, but whatever. We'll figure it out.
Head up there.
Yeah.
Well, there's the chance that this is the last podcast. If there's some terrible wreck and sorry.
Whoa!
Like mom and dad taking the same plane.
What in the hell is happening?
That went morbid real fast, bro.
Yeah, this went dark places in a hurry.
I was thinking, like, if I win the lotto tonight, like, I'm not doing crap, bro. I'm gonna go cash my ticket.
Oh my goodness. All right, guys. Well, that's all we had on the agenda. Anybody got anything else we want to hit here? We want to call it a day.
No, I'm good. Ian, you got anything?
I got nothing. We covered
Cool.
my twin sons thing that I was
We
worried
did.
about for the last 2 days.
I'm
I'm actually feeling
okay.
much better.
I would sleep
Sure,
well.
sure.
I think you're going to be fine. All right, guys. Well, listen, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for hanging out with us. Do us the obligatory favor, the like and subscribe thing that we always have to ask about. And Trey still has his fancy bot set up. So if you guys want to connect to that and join the little channel network where you can chat with us in between episodes, we can absolutely help you set that up. Just let us know. It's no big deal. Otherwise, yeah, we'll catch you in a couple of weeks next episode. And by then, I'm sure Trey will have won a PQ because he's going to Dallas to crush everybody. I did it. I threw the gauntlet down. Let's go.
Okay.
You
Great
can't scrub
comments,
out.
Trey.
You've got to at least make top 8 now. You can't scrub out, or I'm just going to never let you leave it down.
I know, but I'm gonna open that pool and put it out on camera, and you're gonna be like, oh, never mind.
Trey's hosed.
It's gonna be all yellow.
We have to do this now. We totally have to do this now. I can't wait. This is going to be amazing. All right, guys, listen. Good luck in your competitive events, and we'll see you guys in a couple of weeks. Take care.